Oh, how's it going, you lot? I thought I'd just sort of stop by, see how you're doing, and just show you what's been going on in the world of Orinoco, because why not? So, I've had me Savage 21 on the bench just now, in the middle of sorting it out. There will be a video of sorting it out, but obviously it's a slow process because I've got to buy some parts, and that's going to take a little while to get all that sorted out. But yeah, so basically I had no idea that I changed the steering servo at some point in the past. I think it must have been in the last couple of years. I didn't realise it. I've always thought, and I've been telling you lot, that it's the original servo in there. But then when I turned it upside down to have a look and get the servo out a minute ago, a little bit earlier on today, I found out that it was actually a Futaba servo in there. And then I've got vague memories now of changing it, but not proper memories. Just maybe I'm making it up in my head. I don't know. But anyway, I did change it at some point because the evidence was there. So yeah, I need to buy a new servo for it, because when I was running it the other day, you lot would have seen in that car park that for some reason, well, I did take the servo apart, but the steering all of a sudden stopped. The servo was buzzing for a while, then it just stopped working. So I did just take that servo apart just for fun. Completely destroyed it by taking it apart, and yeah, it's all going to go in the bin now. Didn't really find out why it didn't work. So that's just sitting there on the bench, ready to rock and roll when I get a new servo for it. But it's great because pretty much all the screws are stripped out, and the ones that aren't stripped out are just missing. So it's easy to take apart. It's brilliant. The two Savages, which I said the other day in some kind of video somewhere or another that was for sale, they've both sold now. I know I've got one in my hand still, but that's all right. I've got to get that posted off. You know, one sold to someone in England somewhere or another, and I think it was London somewhere, and the other one, as far as I can tell, is going to go to Greece. It was going to go to Sweden, but the postage was a bit too much, so now it's going to go to Greece. So yeah, happy days. That was brilliant. Thanks very much for all of you that were interested. My emails, I mean, I don't check them that often, but the emails were absolutely flooded. Honestly, like I thought I'm going to go and check the emails to see if anyone's emailed me about these cars, or any emails at all for that matter. And normally there's flooded with people that want to sponsor, not real companies. They're normally just companies that no one's ever heard of, and I've been down the route of doing sponsors with companies that no one's ever heard of, and there's no fun really. So I kind of just ignore all of them emails. But it was flooded. There was about 30, or I think it's 37 or something, emails from people that wanted to buy them Savages. So sorry if you missed out, but yeah, it all worked out well in the end because they're sold. So happy days. The little car that I'm using for the beginners series, that's going quite well. Oh, there's a twig there. Look, that's a good twig. That came out of Savage. Yeah, this is it's a bloody good little car, you know that. And I didn't think that it was going to be as good as it is. I've explained before, you know, you have to remember that it is substandard. Do you know what I mean? It is. It's not supposed to be high-end, top-of-the-range nitro car. Yeah, if you start comparing it to high-end or good or branded top-of-the-range nitro cars, you're going to be disappointed, and you're going to be going, this ain't no good, this ain't as good as that. You've got to have the mindset that it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be, the manufacturer, HPI, they design it to be bottom of the range. Yeah, that's why it is what it is. It's a bottom of the range car. Yeah, nitro car. That's what it is. It's the same as you get, you know, like in real cars. You know, you've got Dacia or Dacia, whatever that Romanian brand is. They're designed to be bottom of the range cars. Yeah, they're designed to be basic, bottom of the range. If you just want to get a car to get from A to B, get one of them. Yeah, because you can buy a new one for very little money. Well, actually the prices are going up now because they've started to realise that people are buying them, so of course they're going to put their prices up. But then you got Kia and them other ones that keep coming out. Was it Bide and all them other ones? They're designed to be bottom of the range. They're rubbish, but they're meant to be rubbish. So it's the same with this HSP. But the only thing is, they design it to be bottom of the range and not very good, but it's actually good. You know, it is actually a very good little monster truck. But you've got to have that mindset. You know what I mean? I think some people have the mindset of, you know, maybe they're used to HPIs and Kyoshos and, you know, Mugens and all the other ones. And so when you see something like that, you think, oh, it ain't as good. But a lot of the other thing is, a lot of people tend to turn their nose up at something which is a different brand. So, you know, don't turn your nose up at a HSP, because it ain't that bad after all. You know, they're pretty good little trucks. And to be honest, I have been abusing this quite a bit. Not intentionally, well, yeah, intentionally. I've been doing it on purpose, but in order to get the examples of a lean tune and all that kind of stuff, and I have been thrashing it around, and the engine's still going strong. And everything like that. So yeah, that's a really good little monster truck. I definitely would recommend getting one if you're thinking about getting into Nitro. But not only that, you might already be into Nitro. You might have a different car. You might have a different HSP or something like that, and you fancy perhaps you've got a buggy and you like a backwash or something like that, and you think, I want to get a monster truck, but I don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds, and I don't want a second-hand one. One of them, that'll do you fine. I've noticed quite a bit of negativity around HPI recently for some reason. There's been quite a few people saying that, you know, they're not any good, they don't have parts availability and all that kind of stuff. I don't know where these people are living, but there's loads of parts available for Savages and for other HPIs. All you got to do is go on Wheelspin Models and probably some other shops, and you'll find there is a lot of parts available for Savages and all other cars. And HPI have just released 2 new Savages. Alright, they're not new as in a complete new design, because then it wouldn't be a Savage, would it? You've got to understand, and people say, alright, they've released 2 new Savages, but they're still the same. Well, you see, the thing is, if they tweaked the design of a Savage, yeah, it wouldn't be a Savage anymore. They've got the peak design there. That is the best that it's ever been, and it's the best that it can be, because they made the best car to start with. The first one they made, the Savage 21, this one, was the best. And, you know, they understand, I think. They do understand that if they was to change the design at all, or they done a different radio box, didn't they? A different design, and it actually kind of improved it, made it easier to get to and things like that. And I don't think they've really changed much else. There might be some little subtle tweaks, but if they was to change the chassis design, alright, they've done different. I've done an X in it for the Savage X and things, didn't they? But if they differ too much, it won't be a Savage anymore, and you know, I don't think they could make it better than it was. So I think they're doing right by keeping it as it is. Yeah, they've re-released it. Maybe it's a bit different, I don't know. I haven't seen one of the new ones up close. I've never seen only pictures on the HPI website when I went to go and investigate what was going on. But they sell brand new Savages, so there is parts out there. All right, they can't sell brand new cars and not have parts. It's as simple as that. It just won't happen. And as far as older cars, yeah, there's parts. Alright, not so many for things like the Rush and things like that. But the Rush and the MT2 and the MT and all that, they weren't quite so popular as the Savage. You know, the Savage was I don't know, I can't say that as 100% fact, but I'm fairly sure that it was the most popular Nitro car, monster truck at least, of all time, you know, especially back in the day when it come out in 2002 or whenever it was, 2001 or something like that. You know, which is why there's still loads and loads of parts available for it. Genuine HPI ones as well as aftermarket ones. the Savage 25, which is what this one is here. That was, I think that was the second, well, I think after the Savage 21, this one was probably one of the second, or if not the best selling Nitro cars there was about, but I can't say that for sure, but I'm fairly sure it was. I do remember some kind of article somewhere stating as much. I'm going to do a little bit more rummaging. I did have a bit of a rummage, and I found a high-tech servo, but I can't bring myself to put a high-tech servo in that Savage. It'll just poison it, do you know what I mean? I'm going to have a proper rummage around to see if I can find a decent working servo. I don't normally keep servos. I normally just give them away to somebody because I just don't normally keep servos. But if I can find one that works, I'll put it in. If not, it'll be probably a few weeks before I can buy a new servo, and then we'll get that put in there. But yeah, there we go, man. That's what's going on in the world of Orinoco and the world of Haggard RC. Chilling out, trying to get my old Savage working again. Oh, I forgot that one bolted in. And yeah. And what I'm going to do, once I get this working, the servo going again, we're going to try and get the three gears to work. I'm fairly certain, and a couple of you did say in the comments to the other video, the one where I was running it around in the car park, that it was starting off in second and changing to third. I've always been relatively certain that is the case, which is a good thing, because first and second gear you can adjust from the outside through the little hole on the side of the gearbox. Third gear, you have to take it apart and adjust it. So yeah, that's why I've never really bothered to try and fanny around with it. But I am fairly certain it's starting off in second, only because of how it's not sluggish by any means. You know, it takes off and it pulls away nicely, but it should be a bit more zappy than that. So I do think it is starting off in second and then changing to third. And also the speed that it gets to, you wouldn't get that in second, so I think it is third. So I am gonna, I've never bothered spending any time trying to do it. I just, as, what's his name, as Mr. Offner guy likes to say, I've never bothered to fix it because I don't know how. I know nothing. I don't know how to do anything. I mean, a lot of the time I have trouble walking. I've never really grasped it. I don't know how you lot manage to walk. I just sort of shuffle. I've never managed to, I can never do anything. And when it comes to mending a gearbox, I haven't got a clue. I wouldn't even know where to start. I mean, what is even inside a gearbox? It could be full of fish food for all I know. So, yeah. That's what I'm going to do. Anyway, I'll catch you a lot later on. Just thought I'd stop by and say hello and all that kind of stuff. All the best. Treat people nicely. Don't take people for granted. And all have a nice happy life.